Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about LPVO Eyebox, okay? And I have talked about this before. The Eyebox is basically when you get on the gun, right? Like how perfect does your eyeball need to be behind the scope? Like how centered does your eyeball need to be so that you don't see shadow, right? Because if you move your head a little bit left or right, you're gonna see shadow, okay? Now, when you zoom up in magnification, that generally becomes less forgiving. So if you're in one power, it's a little bit more forgiving, but not a whole lot. Like if you just come off the scope, if I just take my face off the scope, just relieve a little bit of pressure here, I'm almost immediately in the shadow. And people might say, well, that's just on the cheap LPVOs. Well, this is the Primary Arms PLX 1 to 8. This is a $1,500 LPVO. Okay, so even with these expensive ones, if you take just a little bit of pressure off the stock with your face here, so you move out of position, yeah, you're going to be in the shadow. Now, if you go up in magnification, right, that's a lot less forgiving. Okay, the reason why I'm doing this video is because I have not used an LPVO in probably at least a month, right? I've just been doing other things, working with red dots and pistols, etc. So I haven't been on an LPVO in about a month, and today I wanted to test out this ammunition here from 223 from Bitterroot Valley. Separate video on that. So I said, okay, let me pull out. I actually pulled out this scope here. This is a 223 Wild 18-inch barrel. So again, I haven't been on an LPVO in about a month, and I got on this, and I'm like, wait, whoa, what's with this shadow here, you know? So the point I wanted to bring out here really is that if your primary gun, right, if your primary go-to gun is an LPVO, right, it's probably even more critical that you practice regularly with it, right? And I mean by that, like, because I guess going to the range once a month is not going to do it, right? Because like I said, it's been a month since I've been on this gun. You're going to probably need to pick it up a couple times a week, even if it's in your home, and maybe just practice clearing rooms, right? Nobody's in the house, the gun's empty. To just familiarize yourself with and practice where your face needs to be on that gun, and to be able to anchor, anchor your face in the right position, right? Because right now, yeah, I'm coming up on it. I got it every time, but like I said, today when I picked up this gun for the first time after not having touched an LPVO for about a month, I mean, I was seeing shadow. I'm like, whoa, you know. So it took it didn't take long, but it did take a little bit of getting used to. Again, other thing I noticed, the last time I was shooting this, I was shooting at 200 yards. Generally with these LPVOs, right, they're supposed to be like, because there's a diopter here where you focus at TI, it's supposed to be a set and forget, but don't expect it to be, okay? Because like I said, the last time I was shooting this was at 200 yards, and I had adjusted this, because today I'm shooting at closer distances, and I can see that it is slightly off, right? Even on this $1,500 one, right? It's not set and forget. I mean, it's just a small adjustment that I would need to make. Now, if I was going to shoot CQB like right here, yeah, you know, that it being a little out of focus is no big deal, okay? And generally, if you expect to be shooting at distance, that's where I would focus it at, and just be willing to accept it being a little bit out of focus in CQB distance, right? So again, that's with the $1,500 PLX one here. Definitely the case with this. This is a, I think this was like a $700 one. This is the 1 to 10 first focal plane GL. This is a GLX. So same deal with this. Yeah, last time I was shooting this, I was probably shooting it at about 200 plus yards. I can tell right now it is just slightly out of focus. Not a whole lot, but just, you know, I mean, I could make out somebody's face, I'd be able to identify somebody in CQB distance, but it's just slightly out of focus, right? Doesn't mean a whole lot, but you know, it's not a world of difference, but it's there. So again, this is something that I'm observing, or you know, after not having been on an LPVO for about a month, because when I'm you know, using these on a more frequent basis, I kind of get used to these things. You know, like I might be adjusting the diopter without even thinking about it, you know, as I'm changing different distances. So when I guess when I was using these things on a day-to-day basis, yeah, I was good with it, but there was also things that were happening that were like kind of like on autopilot, or I was like kind of self-adjusting. And having not been on it for about a month, I'm seeing certain things that were not so obvious before. Okay, so that's one of the things to, you know, to be aware of, that even on the expensive ones, the $1,500 ones, when you go from you know, from shooting 200 plus yards to shooting CQB, don't expect the focus to be like perfect. I mean, you know, you may have to adjust the diopter if you need it to be, you know, perfectly focused. I mean, I'm more concerned about it being focused at distance than I am at CQB. Okay. Other thing I noticed as far as the Eyebox, right? Between the $1,500 one and which is the Primary Arms PLX $1,500 one, and the GLX, which is like $700 one. As far as the Eyebox, okay, like I said, when I was in 8 magnification, which is the max magnification on this, I can see that, you know, there's a little bit of, I mean, I you know, I have a good sense of how exact I need to be with the Eyebox, right? So that's on the $1,500 scope. So when I go to the GLX, which is the $700 one, right, to get to the same, like if I go to max magnification on this, which is 10, right? This is a 10 this is a 1 to 10 scope. Okay, this is like way less forgiving. So if I go to 8, okay, when I go to 8, the Eyebox on this at 8, right, is not as forgiving as the Eyebox on the PLX scope. Okay, so there's, even when both of these scopes are in 8 power, the PLX, the $1,500 one, is a lot more forgiving than the $700 one. So that's kind of what you know. That's the difference that extra $700 makes, $800 makes. In order for this Eyebox to equal the Eyebox on the PLX, I had to go down to like 4 magnification. Okay, so in 4 magnification, right, on this GLX scope, okay, I mean, if I'm on it now, I can get on it pretty quickly. Okay, I can see how much pressure I gotta take, you know, how much pressure I have to relieve of my face on the stock before I get into the shadow. Okay, so that's in 4 magnification. So with this one in 8 magnification, it's kind of like almost the same thing. So the Eyebox, you know, so for the extra money that you're paying on this $1,500 PLX scope, you know, you get, I guess, twice the Eyebox relief, right? Because I gotta go down to 4 magnification on the GLX to get the same Eyebox forgiveness that I get on the 8X with the PLX scope. So I hope that was clear. Okay, I know it's, you know, I guess this is a way that's not, you know, I'm trying to go into an area here where I'm trying to really like explain the Eyebox, and that's not something that people normally talk about. People will normally say, yeah, it has good Eyebox, not so good Eyebox, you know. So I'm trying to give you guys a way of measuring it, right? As you go from, you know, take the best scope, top of the line, try to get a sense of how forgiving the Eyebox is on the expensive scope. Then go to a cheaper scope and see, like, okay, you know, fine, you're not going to have the same Eyebox in max magnification, So you now start going down to lower magnification and see at what point the Eyebox sort of equals what you get on the expensive scope. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. Drop some comments. Talk to you all soon.